the final in 2002 to Ralph Suke, so he's been there, done that.
Yeah, I think that's right, Phil, what you were touching on. I think as he's got a little bit older, he just has a tendency to miss
Alex Pagulayan wins the
one or
leg.
too many long balls, but as I said, he's very clever, so sometimes he decides not to take the pots on and play safe. But he's still got it, that's for sure. And he's won the lag. He's breaking
First rack
in the first.
Alex Pagulayan to break.
A wonderful break shot there. Parked the cue ball. He's just going to send the one ball around the table, try and keep the cue ball on the top rail, and use all these balls as blockers, and I think that's okay. Unless, has he left the only window on the table to pop this one ball? Well, he did, and that would have been incredible, so it's a mistake from Gary. Wasn't easy, full length off the rail, but at this level they've just got to go.
You might not gather it from first impressions. He's got a youthful demeanour and indeed a youthful outlook. There's Alejandro Salvador Pagulayan, to give him his full name. But back in June, he celebrated his 43rd birthday. So very much a veteran.
Yeah, he doesn't look 43, that's for sure. Well, he certainly doesn't act it, Phil.
Yeah, at times he doesn't act 4 or 3. But never underestimate him. He knows his way around a pool table with the best of them. And he has risen to the very top of the World Pool Association rankings in the past. World 9-ball champion in 2004.
Alex Pagulayan wins the rack.
Well, very neat and tidy from Alex Pagulayan, just giving his opponent a taste of what is to come. Rather stern expression on his face. And for all of these guys who are on the main match table and who aren't accustomed to it, it really is a baptism of fire, because not only are they appearing in front of the TV cameras, in front of an international television audience of millions, but also the very fact they're playing on here means they're playing world-class opposition such as Pagulayan.
Yeah, it's one thing playing in your local pool room with your buddies, but when you come to an event like this and you've got to play the guys and girls who have won the big major pool tournaments, they've got all the experience in the world, and you've got to try and blocked out of your mind, but it's just not easy. We see it time and time again.
Some news from outside tables about big names. Darren Appleton, how good pal. He got through 9-6 against Jonathan Smith. Fedor Gorsht, former world 9-ball champion from Russia, whitewashed Kevin Zock 9-0. Socked it to Zock.
I'm glad you're pronouncing that one, Phil. Alex, another tidy break off, but he's come up dry. Don't see that too often when using a template. Often when that wing ball doesn't go in, you might give the referee a little stare down as if to say, what are you doing to me?
A couple of other outside table results before we get into the meat of this rack. Roberto Gomez was pressed very hard by Joseph Testa, won 9-7. Niels Fine, though, one of the Mosconi Cup giants here, he beat Mike Saller 9-2.
Well, what a float that was. He was trying to send the 2-ball up table and lock him in behind the 6 off the kick, which he did. But there you see the 9 goes in the side, and that means the rack is won. If you're new to watching pool, as long as you hit the lowest ball on the table first, well, you can pocket any other ball and stay at the table. But of course, if that 9 goes in, you have won a speedy rack.
Now this is action from over on table 2. Action all around today. 33 tables in operation at the same time, and that is Christina to catch. But never underestimate him. He knows his way around. Taking on Kevin Goumond. It's 1 each, and this is how Christina arrived at parity.
Rack 3. Gary Serrano to break. 1 rack each.
Taking the time down on the shot. She did pot that 9 ball, by the way.
Yeah, just needed that 2-ball to slow up. Just run on, so the pink 4 is blocking it, going in that corner pocket. He's getting down pretty quick, so he spotted something. Is he playing a little hook behind the 4? He's indeed. Now hitting this 2-ball is not going to be a problem for Alex, but hitting it is no good. He wants to pot this in the corner, and he's probably going to have to use the bridge, or he's going to have to kind of climb over on the table. 1 foot has to be touching the floor. Yeah, he's played it very nice indeed. Purposely played the hook back, using that red 3-ball as a blocker.
Ball stroke. Ball in hand.
No contact, ball in hand. Pagulayan's plan has worked. By the way, it's not recommended to lose early in the US Open, even though it's double elimination and therefore you have 2 chances. The losers' first round is underway. 5 matches at the moment out there where players are playing for their life. Lose that one and you're going home. Who will suffer the ignominy of being the first player to depart. Right now it looks like perhaps being Cashton Keaton, who's 4-0 down to Chad Bazanet.
That's not a title you want, is it? The first man out of the event.
Yeah, the dreaded words, I went 0-2. You don't want that.
Alex just needs to take a little bit of care on this shot whenever the ball's right over the pocket and the cue ball has got a little bit of distance. Sometimes when you're playing the positional shot, the cue ball can kind of fly away off the bottom rail, so this needs to be well judged. And he's flicked the 9, didn't purposely play that shot, but he does have a shot at the 6.
Extension, please.
If you're with us for the first time today, first time in the tournament, worth repeating that it's a 30-second shot clock and there's one extension allowed per rack. It's normally taken when a player is either in real trouble and has to intensively think about how to extricate himself, or it's taken on what they perceive to be the pivotal shot, which in Pagulayan's case was that 6 ball. Well, Gary Serrano had a fluke to pop the 9 ball in the second rack, but in the third, Pagulayan looked what he is, a truly world-class player. Very early stages of this match, but right now the man with such a wonderful CV, and he's won so many different tournaments all around the world, finds himself where we all expected him to be, out in front. He leads 2-1. Welcome back to Atlantic City, a town on the New Jersey coastline that's got quite a history. It's been home to the Miss America pageant since 1921. Mike Tyson had many a fight here. It was even home to the Democratic National Convention in 1964 when Lyndon Baines Johnson was nominated for the presidency of the United States. And now it's home to the USA. The USA Open, that is.
Lovely cue ball control again there from Alex. Parking that cue ball right in the middle of the table, but he's had no love. He's hooked on the one.
Well, I consider it.
One of those players who likes a laugh and a joke around the table. Sometimes you think, well, that puts his opponent at ease, and maybe it does. Lulls them into a false sense of security, because when the chips are down, he's as hard as nails.
You see the push out. Some of you might be thinking, why has he pushed the cue ball over there and left his opponent a pot? And that is because the 2 ball doesn't pass the 8. So if he does pot this, he's no position. Yeah, this isn't going to work. The only good thing is the cue ball has finished on the rail, so that's going to make the position for the 2 a little difficult. Could do with this cue ball rolling a little bit more. That's finished a little awkward.
I think it's fair to say, Carl, that he's never been a classic cueist, but he's one of those players who gets the job done. There you can see the grip well down the butt of the cue, and in that instance it did not work.
Yeah, we said at the start of this match, if there's anything what's kind of vanished a little bit in Alex's game, it is the potting side of things. Yeah, he's just hampered a little bit with this purple 5, so this needs a little bit of care, and he needs to roll it in because of where the pink 4 is. Job well done. It doesn't look like he's out of his depth in this match, does Gary? And if he can just stay with Alex, give him something to think about. He's just landed a little shy of pace there. He wanted the cue ball a bit more in the middle of the table. I don't know if he can pop this 5 ball and hold for the brown 7. If he can't, he's going to have to send the cue ball around the table. And he didn't want to catch the 9. But at least he's got a shot on this 7. But this is not ideal. He should have been a lot closer to his work. And this is when things can start to go wrong. Go wrong it did, so that is a big opportunity gone from Gary. He could have tied this match up, and now Alex has got these 3 remaining balls.
He missed a ball to the centre early in this rack, did Pagulayan, but he's not going to miss this one. There it is, the form book has been vindicated all day. Are we going to see a shock in our very last match on the main match table? Well, you would think not, because Alex Pagulayan, without pulling up any trees, leads Gary Serrano 3-1. Other big results to tell you about this evening. Well, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, a fine player from Spain, he's whitewashed Nathan Wallace 9-0. Warren Kiamco, keeping an eye on him, capable of winning any tournament he enters. The Filipino, he's beaten Michael de Lauder 9-3. Mario He, twice a winner of the World Cup of Pool for Austria in partnership with Albin Auschen. He overcame my favourite player in this tournament after all of the names I've had to pronounce today, Bill Smith. Good old Bill. That made life easier. And a final mention for Thomas Kaplan from Poland, another very capable sort. He beat the Canadian player Erik Horleifsen 9-3.
That was a little bit of a mishit from Alex. He was trying to park the cue ball, just cued across it. That meant the cue ball was going near the side pocket, but it stayed on the table. And the 9 balls come all the way up the table. No, Alex won't be chasing the 9. That is a cert. Gets a good cue ball behind the brown 7. Gary's going to be kicking at this 1 ball.
We shouldn't be surprised about Pagulayan's breaking off skills. In the 2004 BCA Open, he sank 6 balls on the break. I think that's also been achieved by Rodolfo Luat in a tournament in Japan, but nevertheless, 6 balls on the break's remarkable, and even more so, he ended up losing that rack to Santos Sambajon.
So Gary made a good hit, but he didn't have any friends, and he's left Alex, well, an easy opening shot. Position to the 3. Yeah, he could just play it with a bit of left-hand English, and well, that is perfect. Coming to the end of day 1, and there's been no shocks at all, really. None of the top players have been beat. Everyone's safely into round 2. But one thing's for certain, things are they're gonna heat up a little bit over the next few days. Also, the big guns start drawing each other. The top players go over to the left side of the draw. Of course, they're all playing for them 16 spots. Once we have 16 players left, it is a single elimination, and they will all be played in the arena.
Yeah, the closest we came to a major upset was very early today, actually, in the first segment of matches, when Billy Thorpe was overwhelmingly relieved to beat Raymond Linares 9-8. Thorpe in recent years a mainstay of the US Mosconi Cup team. Well, no semblance of a possible upset here. Not yet, anyway, because Alex Pagulayan very neatly has taken a 4-1 lead over Gary Serrano. So much pool to look forward to in the coming months. This Matchroom Pool Series has been so well organised by Emily Fraser and the Matchroom multi-sport team. And of course, while the US Open is a massive individual event. There's also the Mosconi Cup coming up in December the 7th to the 10th to be precise. That is Europe pitted against the USA traditionally, as is the Weber Cup, one of the highlights of the 10-pin bowling calendar. That's going to be played in Leicester from October the 14th to the 16th. There you see on the left-hand side the unmistakable figure of the USA talisman, Kyle Troop.
Rack 6. Alex Pagulayan to break. Leading 4 racks to 1.
I think over the years, Carl, it would be fair to say that many an American fan would have loved to have seen Alex Pagulayan migrate south of the border and play for them, but of course it wasn't possible.
Yeah, he would have been a great asset to the team, of course. As he breaks off, the cue ball gets kicked up towards the top rail. Now, can he see the potting angle? If he can, it's one of them type of pots where we've alluded to many times. This type of long shot pot. Whereas you get a little bit older, these shots kind of vanish a little bit. Yeah, I think he can just get through to the potting angle, so let's see how he gets on with this. Didn't cue it right, did he, Phil?
Well, that is confirmation of what I was saying right at the start of the match. He definitely moved. The head, you could see, was up on the shot. I don't think it's ever been his forte. I don't think he's ever been a formidable potter from distance, but these days, not as good as he used to be.
Extension, please.
Extension call from Alex. It's a 30-second shot clock in operation. You can have one extension per rack. And this is the perfect time for the extension. Here you see Alex, the wily old character. He's going to tie this pink 4-ball up. Needs it to slow down, and it hasn't. That is the danger when you're trying to tie a ball up.
Start the clock, please.
If you don't, well, you give a ball in hand up and an open table. So can Gary, well, can he clear the table? Let's have a look. It's not his finest shot with ball in hand. He's left a little bit of distance, and it's a little bit straighter than he would have liked. He's got a little bit of an angle to force it in. Ah, that's a lot better. That is a lot better. Nice shot.
Oh dear, as we suspected, the first player to leave Harrah's Resort and hit the road is Cashton Keaton. He's been beaten 9-1 by Chad Bazinet in the losers' first round. So it's 0-2 for him. Cashton hasn't cashed.
Tricky shot coming up here. He's got a little bit of angle. The cue ball's going to be... Well, I thought he was going to be running into the 9, but he avoided that, but he's missed the pot.
Looks away in disgust there, Cole.
Yeah, it's not the way he played it, but it's actually turned out okay. A few balls come away from the rail, so you can get your cue in nicely. Just needs to stay still. It's a lot better. But it has to be said, he's getting gifted some racks now in this match.
Yeah, similarly to Judd Trump a little earlier, while I thought Trump potted some wonderful balls, he didn't have the stiffest of opposition. And to this point here, it's the same story for Alex Pagulayan. Looking good against Gary Serrano. It is a race to 9 in this first round of the US Open, and that means he's more than halfway to victory, Pagulayan. Night is falling on Atlantic City. We're coming towards the end of day 1 of this US Open. What a day it's been. So many different stories. Pia Filler, the wife of Joshua Filler, the defending champion, is through. And we've got plenty of female players involved right now. I can tell you Kelly Fisher is 3-1 up on Leo Ott. Christina Takachu, we saw just a fleeting glimpse of over on table 2. She and Kevin Gamond are 3-3 at the moment. And Dawn Hopkins leads Austin Summers 2-1.
Yeah, you could hear in the background there, Alex was cheering after the break because he's landed on the lowest ball. 4 ball is causing a little bit of an issue. Don't know if he would elect to try and flick it away from the 6. No, he's having none of it. I don't blame him. Didn't need to take the risk. Now he's got a nice angle to come back up for this pink 4.
To say though, and I don't want to labour this point, but it has to be said, there is shoulder going into certain shots here, and this is when he's under no pressure against a player with little renown in terms of the international stage. But there is that shoulder going into certain shots, even the ones he's potted.
Yeah, that was a nice shot. He played it with left hand English to get that cue ball back down towards the purple 5. Another roll would have been ideal, but he does have a shot into the side pocket. Well, and he misses another one into the side, but is Gary Serrano going to punish the Lion?
Well, he played that shot with extreme right-hand English, but even so, I think everyone views that as a really unexpected miss from Pagulayan, including Serrano.
Well, he's over on the cue ball by an absolute mile then. He was playing for the 8 in the bottom left corner. Quite incredible. And now I think after potting this 8, he's going to get the cue ball travelling around the table.
Extension, please.
This is the problem. It's forced a mistake. Did the cue ball just come out enough for Alex? I think it has done.
This, at the moment, reminds me of when Pagulayan at the World Masters in Gibraltar played a amateur from Gibraltar and won 7-0. He just knew from the start, having seen a couple of racks, he was going to progress, and right here it is very difficult to imagine he will find any bumps in the road.
He had to play the 8 ball with a little bit of swerve, and now he's shooting this 9 ball into the top right corner. That was a nice shot. It's another rack. What's been stole right at the end. So many racks have gone this way, Phil.
Yeah, and I think the most disappointing aspect for Gary Serrano is the rack he won. The second, he did so by fluking the 9. That was the decisive pot there. And Pagulayan having a very stress-free early workout. You've been in this position, Cole, when you've played opposition you fully expect to beat, and when you get well in front, I suppose the key is not to let the concentration drop.
Yeah, it is hard, because no disrespect to any players you play, but you can just kind of gauge it from the off that you're going to get plenty of chances, and you know it's not going to be worrying you too much. So I think at times your concentration can wander a little bit, or maybe you try new things out more with the break. You try and kind of study things out a little bit more, maybe play a few more safety shots, maybe not be as attacking. Just try and get a feel of the table. 6-1, it's a healthy lead in a race to 9.
Rack 8. Alex Pagulayan to break, leading 6 racks to 1.
Definitely breaking better from this side of the table. We've seen him switch about a little bit, but he parks the cue ball at ease from breaking from the left. So if he does have a coach, I think he needs to be telling him to stick from this side.
No direct pot on the 1 ball available, but there is a 1-7 combination. Not easy, mind you. Not exactly advisable either. Showing respect for his opponent and the game, and playing what is undoubtedly the correct shot.
Yeah, that's where he's very clever. He plays that type of shot and thinks them situations out very nice indeed, and it was a wonderful kick save. So it's a missed kick shot.
Off throw, ball in hand. Start the clock, please.
As I've said before, these guys go into these matches on the main table with great hope and expectation that maybe they're going to show their full range of skills, and yet every match today has been the same. The big names have just blown through them like a hurricane. And it might well be the case in the next round for Pagulayan, because if he does go through, which seems almost impossible not to happen, if he does go through, his next opponent will be another little-known American, Blake Baker.
Playing this with left-hand English to spin the cue ball 3 rails. And that will do nicely. Cue ball needs to slow down, because look at the line. Look at the line. It was definitely going to scratch in the side. Won't be happy with that one. But it didn't drop. So these 2 remaining balls, and he's getting ever closer to that finish line of 9 racks. Alex Pagulayan. He's leading Gary Serrano 7 racks to 1.
You've been there, Carl. You've experienced this. Is it fair to say that regardless of the level of opposition, regardless of the state of the tournament, whether it's first round or whatever, these guys never take anything for granted? You start messing around, you start taking liberties, all kinds of stuff can occur, and momentum can shift quickly. So I think with his vast experience, Pagulayan will be keeping his foot very much on the pedal.
100% correct. Growing up playing this game of pool, you soon learn making silly little mistakes and not giving the game the respect. Well, it can come off and bite you. Done it before, we've all done it. As you said, it's 7-1. He just needs to get the job done now, get this match wrapped up, get an early night, and you're in round 2.
Rack 9, Alex Pagulayan to break, leading 7 racks to 1.
Our referee for this match, Brendan Moore. He's actually a professional snooker referee. Lives in Sheffield, in England. And he's refereed the World Snooker Final twice, I believe, Phil. I'm sure you can confirm that.
Yeah, that's real pressure, isn't it? Because the guys in the World Snooker Championship, well, for the last couple of years anyway, have played for a first prize of £500,000, which equates to around just under 700,000 US dollars. And of course, there's considerable ancillary benefits as well.
Yeah, so Brendan, the referee, you won't want to be making a mistake with that kind of money on the line, would you?
Now there you see again, we were right down the line of the shot, really good camera work there, and you saw that he didn't stay still. I'm being very critical, I know, but it is worth making the point that this is something he needs to try and iron out, although it's much easier said than done.
Yeah, and I've just been watching Brendan, the referee, because obviously this match looks like it's all gone and Gary's had plenty of chances, so you think this is going to be you know, an easy win for Pagulayan, and every time Brendan just follows Alex around the table, so he's stood behind his shot, so he's not in his eye line.
Now that's the great thing about the professional referees on the snooker circuit, who do a phenomenal job. They are so astute, and their positioning around the table is simply faultless.
Yeah, there you see again, he's walking the opposite side because he knows Alex is going to be shooting this 9 in the corner. And this easy 9 to put yourself on the hill.
And it looks like it's going to be another procession. We've seen a lot of them on the main table today, where one of the colossus of the game of pool has taken on a lesser known player, and we've seen one wide margin of victory after a next. Alex Pagulayan looks like joining the list. He's 8-1 up. one of the pleasing aspects of today has been the size of the crowds here at the US Open. Right from the word go at 10 o'clock local time this morning, a big crowd has been in there watching the action. And not many of them have left, even though the day is winding down.
Alex Pagulayan to break, leading 8 racks to 1.
This match is certainly winding down. Pagulayan on the hill, breaking off, needing one more rack to advance.
Breaking from the left seems to be a bit more successful, although he doesn't have a shot on this one. Well, he's 8-1 up, and he's decided to get the short cue out. He's going to go airborne and try and pocket this one in the corner.
And with his stature, the short cue really is short.
He's playing a push out with the jump cue, just pushing it into a bit more of an easier position, I believe, because he was having a bit of trouble getting his hand where he wanted because of the brown 7. Don't blame Gary for having a go at this. You're 8-1 down against the Lion. You may as well go out fighting.
Well, didn't get the pot. Could have been worse, though. The secondary kiss has left the one ball out of harm's way. Capturing the action. Let me just tell you that if you want to plan your evening tomorrow, the start of the second session here, 4 o'clock local time, 9 o'clock back in the UK, will be Judd Trump against Traval Kumar Patel from India. So Trump will start off the second session as he did this evening.
He was trying to use a 3-ball to hook his opponent. I think he's just left an edge. It's not a nice position to be in if you're Gary. You're 8-1 down. You kind of sort of feel like you're going to lose. It's a tall order to win 8 racks against the likes of Pagulayan. So it's a strange situation he finds himself in.
Well, the way things have gone, I think I've got more chance of winning the London Marathon than he's got of winning this. And if anyone who knows me thinks otherwise, they got something wrong with them.
I think I slightly favour Gary in that matchup, Phil. There's a tidy little pot in the side pocket. We've seen him miss a couple so far. This is awkward. Whenever there's distance when you're playing the plant or the combo, as we say. He's not even having none of it. He's played the bank, he's lost a cue ball. But it's your day. What a save that is.
Yeah, they say in snooker you should never take liberties. I think that was a liberty, but when you're 8-1 up, I think he's allowed one. By the way, if the match finishes here, we will have some bonus action from table 2, and it's a very interesting contest over there. Christina to catch from Russia is 5-4 up on Kevin Gaumond at the moment, so that's an intriguing one. Some meat on the bone in that contest. Well, there's a snooker commentator and a former world snooker champion called Joe Johnson, who on that shot would have said he missed it by a week.
Start the clock, please.
Nowhere near.
You know, the balls are sat nicely for Alex. The 3-ball passes the 7 in the corner, but he's having none of that. He's playing for the side. Looks fine as well. This is a case of just connecting the dots. The 8-ball is sat nice for a guaranteed position to the 9. And I think the writing is on the wall for Gary Serrano. He will move over to the left side of the draw. Of course, you get 2 lives. So if you lose your first match, you still got a chance, but going over to the left side of the draw so early, well, you're going to have to play somewhere near, I would guess, around 15 matches, maybe 12 to 15 matches to get through to that final 16. So it's a tall order. It is key you stay on the right side of the draw as long as possible. So this 8.
Earlier this evening we saw Judd Trump's opponent, Joe McGee, throw in the towel before the winning 9-ball, but Pagulayan has the pleasure of potting it.
Right,
There it is. At 1-1 we thought, could the balls roll in favour of Gary Serrano?